All right, welcome to episode 111. 111 um of my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcasts because there's also a blog which can be found at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. And there's a transcript for those of you who can't understand me or you can't understand everything I say. The transcript is pretty good, and that's at rss.com, my FX Buddies. Anywhere, pretty much anywhere you listen to or watch, I'm not going to say watch, but listen to podcasts, you may find my FX Buddies there. Just do a search. But I do know you can find my FX Buddies at spotify.com, video and audio, Apple, iPods, Apple, whatever. Whatever they call it. And something else. Oh, YouTube. Oh, no, Rumble. So Rumble, those of you who like to rumble, that's the video that I host on the blog is, geez Louise, maybe I shouldn't do this, okay? It's Saturday night. I do not drink, okay? I did have a Coca-Cola. I do like the Coca-Cola that's made in Mexico. Anyway, so I was trying to say, the video that I put on the blog is hosted on Rumble. And I know some people just like to watch videos, so you could just go there. And that also will have a link to the blog, but also my FX Buddies. That's how you can find me there. And one of the, okay, now YouTube. If you are listening to this on YouTube, indeed, that's what you're doing, just listening, because there's no, it appears to be a video, but it's not. So if you'd like to go to the blog, and many people tell me it's so much easier to understand and follow along, and this one is going to be article heavy, word heavy, not picture heavy, word heavy. And usually those are the ones where it helps to hear my voice and see the words. So you may want to go to the blog for this one. All right. So look under the box that appears to be a video. Look for the word more. Click on the word more, and the link to the blog will be there. And what else? That's it. Okay. So, oh, well, let me just say it's Saturday. It's early enough. Saturday, September 21st. It's early enough that it should be loaded, but that's out of my control. I upload it, and then how they dispense it out, that's up to them, right? All right. So, 2 days in a row, there was something worth posting. So, look at this. Al-Alaq. We are constantly reviewing the deletion of zeros from the dinar. So that's the title, because the real title is too long. It's going to get chopped up anyway by the other sites when I upload it. So here's the full title. Al-Alaq, we are constantly reviewing the deletion of zeros from the dinar, and there are no restrictions on our balances in America. All right, and so there he is, and the CBI flag is there, and the Iraqi flag is there. So what this is an interview. So he has been interviewed by Al Jazeera, I believe it was. Let's see. Yeah. Al-Alaq confirmed in an extensive, and it is extensive, an extensive interview with Al Jazeera.net, I think, which was reviewed by the news, that the central bank responded to global economic challenges such as rising energy and raw material prices by amending some monetary policies in line with the international situation and to enhance confidence in the Iraqi dinar and prevent a sharp decline in its value. But we haven't seen that, right? I mean, what enhanced confidence, right? I mean, they're basically forcing their people to use it by saying if you use the dollar, you're going to go to jail, right? But, you know, it's just steps we have to go through. So I bolded the questions. So if you want to just, I mean, you really should read all of it. Actually, there's really no new information. If you follow the articles like daily, like a lot of people do, then there's probably no new information. There's just a lot of global, international, what else? Yeah, and deleting, obviously deleting the 3 zeros. Talk of deleting the 3 zeros. There's one question. Let's see. Here they talk about the rentier economy, just, because they're based so heavily on oil. Here we go. Will removing zeros from the dinar destabilize the financial situation in Iraq? And this is how he gives a rather political answer. The process of removing zeros from a currency means replacing the old currency with a new one in order to simplify the accounting process between consumers. It is often resorted to by countries that suffer from high inflation and have become unable to deal with paper currencies of very low value. And that's not them. They're not, their inflation is high, but it's no higher than anyone else in the country, in the world, in the global economy. Many believe that the process of deleting zeros is an economic and monetary reform process and is resorted to in case of high inflation and currency collapse, which reduces the feeling of economic collapse. A monetary illusion process. I'd say they've been in illusion, right? Keeping the rate so low all this time. Anyway, however, if this process is not supported by real economic factors and accompanied by radical reforms, it becomes negative. The project to remove zeros in Iraq is under continuous review and study at the Central Bank of Iraq, taking into consideration the existence of a volume of issued currency that exceeded 100 trillion dinars after it was 6 trillion in 2004, the year following the exchange of the currency that was undesirable and of poor quality. And what happened, for those of you who don't know, 2003 we went in and took out Saddam, and his money had his face on it, and told the people, hey, that money's no good. We have new money. Magically, right? We have new money for you to use. And there was the currency that you hold. Well, now we hold different versions, more advanced versions that have better security features. And you know what? You can still find those videos on YouTube if you put in Iraqis exchanging Saddam dinar. And you might be able to, if they're still on YouTube, you could pull them up and you could see them bringing all their Saddam-faced dinar in and getting the notes that we made for them. Okay, let's see. So, in addition to a wide cash supply approaching 179 trillion dinars, which requires specialized cadres, especially in the bookkeeping process, which we know they've been training. They've been training people, right? That's what cadres is. People, specialized class of people, which government banks are still suffering from due to the circumstances the country has gone through. So, did he answer the question? Anyway, and so then there's a few more, but it is long, like the intro said, it's quite extensive, but If I could read it with my comprehension issues, I think you probably could read it too. All right. So Sudani has made it. He has arrived in New York. So, and this is it's an annual meeting that happens all the time. And I keep saying he'll be here for a week, but I don't know that he'll be here for a week. This meeting, this UN General Assembly, it lasts a week, but that doesn't mean he'll stay all week. However, I think he's going to. Okay, I wasn't going to jump around, but I'm going to show you something. So, okay, someone sent this to me yesterday. So if you listen to episode 110, which you should, it's very short. I think it's like 15 minutes. You should go back and listen to that. I had said I wouldn't be surprised if Al-Alaq accompanies Sadani to New York, right? Well, let's see. Someone sent this to me. I'm not. It looks like a blog to me. It looks very professional, but it looks like a blog to me. Because see how it says no comments here? News sites don't usually put comment sections. And then see this is a feature. If you have a blog, there's a code that you can put and this feature pops right in. Most news sources don't use this. But anyway, so, and then the only reason I'm saying, prefacing that, sources from the Central Bank of Iraq, Sudani contacted Al-Alaq during the meeting and set a date for the heads of participating banks next Saturday. So, sources. So this might as well be gossip, right? It doesn't give a name. It just says sources. So that's another reason why. And like they have other news articles, but I post news articles on my blog, right? My blog's not very professional looking. But anyway, so yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. Then I don't know what meeting they're talking about. So it says sources had contacted Al-Alaq during his meeting with a number of heads of local Iraqi banks and set a date for the heads of the participating banks next Saturday. Well, next, when you read Iraq's news, usually when they say next, it means the one coming. So since this was written yesterday, it would have meant today. But I don't think Sadani had any meetings with anyone today because he left. But he could. He could have. But that would have been today, right? So how would they have known yesterday on the 20th of something that was going to happen today? So it could be Saturday, the coming Saturday when they're in New York. Maybe they'll have meetings there. I don't know. So let's read on. Sadani informed the attendees of setting a date for a meeting with the U.S. Treasury Secretary in New York on the sidelines of his participation in the General Assembly meetings, noting that the meeting included the heads of Assure, yeah, good luck with that, and that. And those names to me sound like they could possibly be Islamic banks, but I don't know. And the effects on the ban on dealing in dollars on local banks were discussed. So the announced meeting Sadani held with the heads of Iraqi banks was preceded by another similar meeting yesterday, but it was not announced, with a number of Arab banks. See? So that's why, since they're saying here, these are Arab banks, and I'm familiar with this name and this name. That's why I think those other banks were Islamic banks. It doesn't matter though. I'm just pointing that out. Sudani's media office did not publish a statement about his meeting with foreign banks in the context of his meeting today with the directors of a number of banks. So, and we know those meetings they had about Article 140 We know the people who attended those meetings were asked not to talk about them, right? So it's highly likely, I feel, that this did take place. But again, take it with a grain of salt. I mean, isn't that how we take most things anyway? But yeah, so it seems like while he's here to do some, I don't know if those UN people really do anything, right? They seem to give speeches. It's more of the meetings that take place on the sidelines, I think, is where the real work gets done. All right, so that's that. So again, I'm not posting that. I just wanted you to see that. That's out there. And thank you to the person who sent it to me. Okay, so now we're back on the blog. Sudani's advisor, guess which one? Yes, there he is. Mohammed Saleh. The banking system in Iraq is rentier par excellence. So you should read this, but what he's saying is, yes, we are rentier. Yes, we are based, most of our income is based from one thing, but we're rocking it, man. We got uh, a comprehensive reform process. We got excess federal, what is it? Foreign reserves. So our banking market is able to be integrated with international financial and banking systems and is becoming attractive to global banks on a large scale. So he's like, stop talking about us and our rentier economy, right? But yeah, it won't be like that for long. That is a country song. Look at that. Those words just came out just like that. Hey, when I'm gonna come back later. Oh, wait. All right, sorry about that. Okay. So here, the success of electronic payment is an important step for the success of the financial sector. So here's another, where is this? Here's a place where they have more emphasis, information on the smart card, international smart card, the Q card. See how they have the Q there? Where is this? That's interesting. I never saw that come up here before. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. But here, remember this. The central bank has a major role in the citizens' harmony with the new developments witnessed in the electronic payment sector. So every day, daily, they're just bombarded with stuff like that. All right, so here, oh, they got loud. Turn them down. Okay, central bank governor, activities of sanctioned Iraqi banks continue in all currencies except the dollar. So remember, I had said, I think those sanctioned banks are not sanctioned anymore, but apparently they are, but just in the dollar. So now this is part of the interview. So if you don't want to read the whole interview, you could read this. Here, though, he mentions OFAC. He pointed out the sanctions imposed on banks are related to the decision to ban dealings in dollars, as the banks were not included in the sanction list issued by OFAC, which is Office of Foreign Assets Control, and therefore the bank's activities continue according to the applicable procedures and in all currencies except the dollar. So they're not on OFAC. And here they're talking about the level of foreign reserves is adequate. It's more than adequate, actually, but let's see. So, yeah, here's more talk about the foreign reserves. So, even this is pretty, I would consider this a moderate length article. Okay, but this is called Central Bank Governor Activities. Oh, I read that. Sorry. I'm a little flustered. Okay, let's see. Yeah. All right. Prime Minister's meeting with Banking Association, decisions to support and confirm the role of banks in development. Now, this could be the bank meeting that article that I said, take it with a grain of salt, the one that I read to you. This could be the meeting that they were talking about. But this happened, I think this happened Friday. Even though this article is dated today, this article's out today. Actually, Sudani had a few meetings that they're showing on TV. So let's see, what did they talk about? Challenges, the obstacles of banking work, and what has been achieved from efforts made by government and the central bank in implementing what is stated in the government program regarding steps of financial and banking reform. See all these words? They don't need all them words. What do they need all them words for? Just speak clearly. So this is, they're talking about that investment map for the years 2024 through 2028. All right. And the higher committee. Okay, yeah. So remember they had that meeting, they put together a Supreme Council of a higher committee to address obstacles for banking, getting them up to international status, doing everything right. So yeah, you could read this if you like. This is one of those articles that I don't like clearly, right? Because like I said, there's a lot of words I think they could take out. Anyway, the framework determines the type of response if Washington delays its exit from Iraq. So this is the framework, not the Al-Nujaba or whatever those people are that do harm. Let's see. Expelling American forces from Iraq is necessary for the country's security as their presence is ominous. And our demands are supported by the people. Actually, they're not. Parliament and government at the same time. The people want us there. The negotiating delegation headed by the minister, well, some of the people have said they want us there. The negotiating delegation headed by the Minister of Defense has set an agreement with Washington for a gradual withdrawal from Iraq according to a timetable. And if the resistance feels that the American administration is procrastinating, the resistance will be present and ready to force it to leave. So the resistance is the Al-Nujaba people. And then they go on to talk about things I don't say. So if you want to read that, you can. All right. This I thought was so funny. So implementation of 4,223 procedures within the government program. So someone had left a comment about they've been in this like 13 years and they've seen in the last 2 years, they've seen more done and accomplished in Iraq than the whole 13 years together. So, but look how they start the article without getting tired or bored. The government team. So I guess they're not going to list all of actually they do. They break it down. There's a breakdown here of the different, not individually, but a group. They have 3 different groups, and I guess if you add that up, it totals 4,223. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting because there's lots of people who say, oh, it's the same old, and clearly it is not. They're definitely in a different position than they have been. It's just we still have control. Okay, so let's see. Ice Cream Land announces attacking Bala targets and missile platforms and removing threats to its citizens. So between last night and today, there's been some back and forth, right? You hit me, I hit you. So that's not good. But it's not in Iraq, though. It's Ice Cream Land, Lebanon, and uh, I think still Gaza. I think they're still bombing there too. I'm not sure. But you can read that article if you'd like. Okay, here, government confirms its adoption of a constructive economic policy. So I just have this here. If you want to read this, Sadani met with the body. This was Friday, and they had it on TV. He also met with Kazali. I don't have any pictures of Kazali, but you know what? Let me see if I can get. I don't really like him. Let's see. Here he is right here. This is Kazali. And he's saying some not nice things right now. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back over here. So, on the eve of his departure to New York, Sadani de-escalates tensions with 3 meetings with the leaders of the frameworks. So there's all this stuff going on that I don't talk about because it's boring. Well, the one about the theft of the century is quite interesting. But the others are very boring because they're political. There's none of it has to do anything with the RV. But I didn't know how serious it was getting until reading this. That's a pretty serious title, right? He had meetings to de-escalate tensions. That's, to me, that's pretty serious. But I don't know why they don't come together and meet all together. Why do they have to meet separately? I don't know, but whatever. So the prime minister will hold meetings with world leaders and present his government's achievements. So that's what he's going to do when he's in New York. But he did go meet with them, and those were the meetings they were showing on TV. So here they're talking about there's attacks of, verbal attacks of Sadani, the people who want him gone, right? There's wiretapping. There was a Wall Street Journal article that was like Iraq's Watergate, and it had something to do with oil and all that. I don't know if you saw that, but this guy right here, this Noor Zuhair, he's the guy with the theft of the century that's straight up like a soap opera. Let me see, but we're running out of time, so I don't have time to go into it. But yeah, so of course he's gonna talk about he wants better resolution, faster resolution to what's going on in Pizza Land, right? Sadani is. Yeah, so he's gonna talk about a lot, which makes me believe he will be here for the week, but I don't know. But I will be watching. So if you want to read that, you will see all these other things that have been going on. All right, and that is quite lengthy, and that is the last article. So thank you for listening. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen this week. If it's going to be a quiet week or is it going to be a post-worthy week? I don't know. We'll see. I do find it interesting that there's much conversation about the deletion of the zeros. But I wish, what's the song by Elvis? A little less conversation, a little more action. But they can only move as fast as we'll let them move, right? So that's why it's so frustrating for us. Well, I'm sure it's frustrating for them too. But so we'll see. We'll see if something good comes out of this coming week. I can't imagine there'll be anything in the news worth posting tomorrow, but if there is, I will come back with another post. So, what you should do is if there's a join, follow, there's some other crazy word. Subscribe. I mean, that's not the crazy word, but there's some other word that some of them use, which means join, right? Follow, whatever. So if you have that button wherever you're enjoying this content, do whatever steps are needed to activate those buttons. And when I do update, you'll be notified because I don't update regularly. So, yeah. And I always close with accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. And thank you again. And enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you're enjoying this content. And until next time.